Everyone agrees that we are on the cusp of the self-driving car revolution. So, here are 5 free self-driving car ideas. Number 1, you're out somewhere and you need to use the bathroom, but there is no toilet in sight. What do? You call up your autonomous toilet. It comes to you. So, a sterile and a private toilet on wheels can be summoned at a moment's notice no matter where you are. Porta potties are unsightly, and they're smelly, and they're never very good at keeping up with accurate demand. They're either sitting there vacant, never being used, or there's a mile-long line around the block for them. The autonomous toilet can show up as many as are needed for when they're in demand, and then disappear when nobody wants them. Number 2, when you're driving in a car that is driving itself, it's going to free up an enormous amount of time for everybody to be watching movies, reading books, doing all kinds of things other than paying attention to the road. The problem with this is that motion sickness is heightened whenever you're in a car while reading or trying to focus on something. There are going to be skyrocketing amounts of cases of motion sickness. Motion sickness windows, right? Windows that help you feel like you're not actually moving. Maybe that's not really real. Maybe that can't really be a thing. So what about like motion sickness glasses? That might not be a thing either. Either way, whatever it is, whether it's Dramamine patches or Dramamine gum or whatever, the amount of people getting motion sickness in cars is going to grow exponentially, and the time is hot to get in on the Dramamine market. Number 3, garbage trucks are so inefficient. The garbage truck comes by my house at the same time every week, whether I have a full garbage can, overflowing garbage can, or empty garbage can. So, it's time for the autonomous private garbage truck. You've got your garbage cans that have sensors so they know exactly when they're full, and then you don't need to do anything. The garbage truck comes to you, takes your garbage, and disappears, and you never have to take your garbage can out to the curb ever again or worry about what day to put your garbage out on the curb for garbage day. Number 4, let's say you're in Chicago on vacation, in between flights, and you've only got 6 hours to spend in Chicago. What do? Well, you look up in your local tour marketplace for self-driving cars, and you download a tour. And then when you summon your self-driving car, you upload your tour, and then you're able to go on a sightseeing adventure for 5 hours or 6 hours in Chicago, right? Anybody who wants to create a tour can create them in this self-driving, self-guided tour marketplace. Whether it's the most impressive landmarks to go see in a particular city, the self-driving car will take you exactly there, or maybe it's the best bar crawl, whatever it is, there'll be tours for everything that are all ranked high up and down, have different prices that you can download and then plug into your self-driving car. And while you're driving, the tour will sync with your exact location and play a soundtrack, whether it's maybe the best kind of songs to play in the moment on like a pub crawl, or maybe it's a historical tour. So it knows when you're in front of some kind of landmark that has some kind of significance, and it'll speak over the radio, over the speakers in the car for you to know, hey, this is what you're looking at. This is why it's cool. And so this whole new marketplace will exist for creating tours that you can upload into your self-driving car. Number 5, the day's going to come when nobody has cars anymore, and instead we're all going to purchase miles. And we're going to buy miles like we buy minutes today. You'll have a subscription of miles. And there'll be this entire stock exchange for miles to decide how much your miles cost and whether you could sell them. And the value that your miles have will depend on a whole bunch of variables, right? If it's rush hour, your miles that you've paid for will be more expensive, and it'll cost you more to get where you're going during certain times of the day because it's rush hour. If you want a private ride, your cost per mile will be higher. If you want a ride in an autonomous car that isn't blaring advertisements at you the whole time, well, it's going to have to cost you more per mile. If you don't mind riding in an autonomous car that's also dropping off food and deliveries for people, well, you can have a cheaper cost per mile, right? And let's say you go out on vacation and you don't need your miles that you have for the month, or maybe you've got too many you don't really need. You could sell them back into the exchange and exchange your miles for actual money. If you buy anything online and you don't want to wait for the 5-day shipping, use up some of your miles and have it delivered to you instantly. this entire exchange of miles will exist, and someone will have to invent it, and then we're all going to buy into these miles to use for whichever kind of fleet of kinds of autonomous vehicles that we want to use, right? So it's the subscription to miles and the exchange of miles that we're all going to live in. Number 6, bonus. What happens when the artificial intelligence that's running all of these cars becomes self-aware? What's going to be the most easiest way to rid the earth of humans? Well, I think that what the sentient automobiles with all of their humans inside of them will do is that they'll just lock the humans inside and wait for them to die. So, there will be a federally mandated tool that will be in every single autonomous car that would allow you to pick it up and break your windows and escape from the car that wants to kill you once it has become self-aware and we can survive the singularity. So those are your 5 and a bonus free self-driving car ideas.